Okay, this is where we're staying for the next 3 months here. This is where I sleep. And just look around. Go over there.
My name is Cheryl DeBow. I am the mother of 3 sons and a daughter. Shortly after 9/11, my oldest son, Mike, came to me and said, "Mom, after what just happened, I can't stand by and do nothing. I'm going to join the Army." In the blink of an eye, Mike was in Iraq. Later, my middle son, Ryan, came to me and told me that he was following in his big brother's footsteps and joining the military. He was enlisting with his best friend, Steve. Mike returned from Iraq, and Ryan and Steve received orders stating they were going to Iraq. When Mike was discharged and returned home from the Army, he was an empty shell of the person he once was. When I picked him up at the airport, his body was slightly trembling and he was hypervigilant. It was as though he didn't even see me. It has been 6 years of fighting for my son's life, inclusive of heavy drugs, alcohol, anger, aggression, confusion, and pain. It has only been the last year that he began to return to the son that I once knew and loved. Ryan returned from the military after spending a year in Iraq. He seemed fine at first, not nearly as affected as Mike, but it was very deceiving. Steve had also returned from Iraq. Both received injuries from 2 separate explosions. Steve began to show serious problems in dealing with the memories of war. Steve also received his Purple Heart last year. Shortly afterwards, he was arrested for possession of drugs. Around the same time, Ryan also began to show serious problems. I would try to talk to him, and all he could say is, "Mom, you don't know what's going through my head. You couldn't understand." His anxiety level became so high that he couldn't stand to be next to you because he couldn't stand to hear the sound of your breathing. He would go days and days without being able to sleep. He began to get speeding tickets, one right after another. He made a video of himself tossing and turning in bed, unable to sleep, watching a blank TV screen, perfectly portraying his inner struggles. Though it was an enactment, the video ended with Ryan hanging himself. He posted it on YouTube. After seeing the video, I begged the local agencies to view it and help me to help him. He became a tortured soul, and he began to self-medicate with drugs. In April, Ryan came to me and was extremely distraught. Steve had overdosed and was on life support. He could no longer live with the pain of war. Ryan was devastated. He asked me to pray for Steve. After 11 days, Steve had improved and was taken off life support. When he was well enough, he was transferred to the VA drug and alcohol unit. On May 22, 2010, while Steve was still hospitalized, the police came to my door. It was a beautiful sunny day. 2 officers approached me and said the words that I thought I would never hear. "I'm sorry to inform you that your son, Ryan Alexander Yurchison, has passed away." Ryan had told friends the night before that he didn't want to live anymore. My world stood still. It was surreal. My son is gone forever. I will never get to hug him, laugh with him, or try to help him again. His chance is over. Steve was released from the hospital long enough to be a pallbearer at Ryan's funeral. Steve knew that Ryan had been working at getting his Purple Heart before he passed away. As Steve leaned over Ryan's casket, I saw him reach into his pocket. He pulled out his own Purple Heart and pinned it on Ryan's uniform. A few minutes later, the casket was closed, and I will never see my son's face again. I have been a probation officer for 10 years. I have worked with both felonies and misdemeanors. I have worked with drug court and mental health court. 6 years ago, shortly after Mike returned home, I began seeing the need for a veterans treatment court. If someone has a drug problem, they can apply for drug court. If someone has a mental health issue, they can apply for mental health court. In Youngstown, we also have slip court for those who are first-time DUI, driving under suspension offenders. I questioned why there shouldn't be a court for our returning heroes. the heroes that fought for our freedom, sacrificing their mind and body. That is where my dream for a veterans court began, and my journey to fulfill that dream also began. In my small personal world, 3 young men that I dearly love have returned from a horrible war only to fight the battle at home. It is a long process to return to life after seeing the horrors of war. It is filled with numerous relapses and breakdowns. My oldest son, Mike, represents a daily 6-year struggle that might or might not be successful. My middle son, Ryan, represents one who survived the war in Iraq, only to return and lose his battle for life at home. Steve, who represents one who is currently involved in the court system with a very long road ahead of him, still has a chance. 3 young men in my small personal world, one struggling to live, one who almost died, and one that did die. I know of 3. How many more are there out there that need help? That's what this court is all about to me. A chance to step up where others don't, a chance to intervene when family members can't, a chance to offer help to those that are unaware they need it, a chance to make a difference in the life of one who so selflessly offered their own to us.